Hi, welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Sascha Segan, he's Will Greenwald, and we're here in the PCMag Labs in New York City to bring you the top tech news stories of the day, one literally cool thing right behind us, and to answer some of your reader questions. So let's begin. The biggest tech news story of the day is probably that Getty Images has made 35 million of their pictures free to use, although there's a catch. Instead of just right-clicking on something in Google Image Search, you need to use Getty's iframe tool, which will paste the image into your website with the proper attribution and potentially let them collect data about who's looking at the images and monetize it with advertising. And I mean, there's something good and at the same time a little sad about this because, you know, you get the feeling they want to make money and they've realized that the old model of making money by people actually paying for content is dying. So as a result, they're just going to become another one of those companies that collects lots of information about you and sells it to people who you don't know.
I'm curious if this iframe issue is specifically a legal requirement or if it's a programming requirement, because if it is legal, then you probably shouldn't do this alternative that's going through my head. But if it's just a technical issue to get photos from Getty onto your site, print screen and a image editing program would basically let you pull it out of the iframe. But again, probably highly not legal. No,
based on Getty's. I think it's legal. Getty's trying to, like so many content companies, Getty is trying to get its head around how people are compensated for content on the internet. And it's a big question. You know, obviously it hasn't been solved. It'll be interesting to see how many people use the new Getty iframe.
It will also be interesting to see whether attribution will be able to occur if people can just pull the graphics, or if this is something Getty will fight to make sure people use the iframe. Because technically speaking, if you can get the picture on your screen, you can get it into a file and send it yourself.
Right, will the lawyers still be on the warpath?
Yeah.
Now the second story of the day is that reclusive Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto turns out to be a man named Satoshi Nakamoto.
Didn't see that coming.
Yep. According to Newsweek, he is a 64-year-old engineer living in California, a libertarian who used to work on classified defense projects and has a strong suspicion of the government and centralized authority. He supposedly coded Bitcoin and then handed it over to the folks who run it now. He has not had any involvement with it in several years. And there's a lot of controversy around this story because a lot of the Bitcoin fans out there on the internet feel that his identity shouldn't have been revealed, although it turned out to have been his name all along.
And the recent Bitcoin fiascos with the two largest exchanges and missing money digitally is also throwing another wrench into the cogs of Bitcoin success and how it's being perceived, and his name being revealed or confirmed after all this has happened further makes it seem a bit controversial.
I mean, one of the things I find most interesting about this story and the controversy over this story is that it is very much the old media, new media, newspapers versus Reddit idea of what is news and how should news be performed and what is in the public interest. And, is Bitcoin something that is, going to blow up all of society and, usher us into this libertarian paradise where all the rules are different? Or is it a news story that should be treated like other news stories and its creators be treated newsworthy like other people who have done similarly important things?
Well, whatever you might think about Bitcoin, it is at least a bit more reputable and savory than, say, encouraging your viewers to buy overpriced gold coins because it's the only worthy commodity.
Yeah, I like Dogecoin though. Now, speaking of cute animals, a really funny story that was making the rounds today involved a manuscript from the 1530s by a German warfare engineer who was theorizing. Franz here was speculating about attaching bombs to cats. His concept was that he would attach these bombs, or in some cases missiles, to the backs of cats and send them into cities and castles that were under siege, so that hopefully they would set things on fire. This is it's really a variant on the common medieval warfare strategy of lobbing a flaming ball or a dead horse over the walls of a castle with a trebuchet,
Yep.
which shows suddenly that I know a little bit about medieval warfare.
Through Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Actually, no, I've been to these awesome trebuchet demonstrations, but that has nothing to do with PCMag Live. In any case,
It could be if Larnia would let me build one.
these are being referred to as the rocket cats. It is not actually rockets on the back; it's bombs. It never happened, unfortunately, because, or fortunately, really, for the cats, because it turns out cats are too unpredictable and they cannot be counted to run towards your enemies.
I'm curious how the missiles would work, because a cat-mounted missile launcher could be kind of cool.
Would it take the cat's head off before it took? Like, there's
Yeah,
there's a lot of there's a lot of
Put
potential.
a ramp on it and climb it upward.
And then there's a lot of potential problems here. I'm sure people on Reddit are working on this problem right now.
Funny enough, the most effective way would probably be to just simply light the cats on fire and send them into a city.
Okay. Okay, so let's get to our reader question. Phil asks on YouTube, to upgrade a Windows XP desktop computer with only 512 megs of memory to Linux, which Linux distribution would you recommend installing? Also, of the browsers that are out there, both Windows and Linux, which ones have the lowest memory requirements? Well, I asked Michael Muchmore, our lead analyst for software, and Sal Cangeloso, the editor-in-chief of Geek.com. They said that in terms of low-memory Linux installations, what you're looking for is Tiny Linux or Xubuntu, which is a pared-down version of Ubuntu, which typically takes a lot more memory. In terms of browsers, you might be surprised to find out that in our tests, the most recent versions of Firefox use a lot less memory than other browsers like Chrome or IE. Firefox has been working on their memory usage for quite some time. They finally did get it down. They've done a good job. Of course, if you're on really low memory, nothing beats links from the command line.
Or barring that, Windows XP.
Well, this guy is using Windows XP, so there you go. Firefox and Windows...
Can't get it to run with 512 megs?
What? Yeah, pretty impressive, isn't it? Now we've got one cool thing, and it is literally a cool thing. I have been waiting to stick my head through this for the entire duration of our show.
This is the Dyson Cool. They just announced it. It's the newest air multiplier fan. Dyson says it is 75% quieter than the previous air multiplier fan, and it is $300 and a fan. But it's Dyson, which explains why it's $300.
And it will not cut your head off. If you stick your head through it, if you stick your cat through it, for instance, it does no damage to the cat at all.
That's because there are no moving parts above the base. This entire head, which came off before, which can come off, is actually just a circulator for the air. There's a motor in here which puts out the wind, and it goes through this. There's a wing-shaped cross-section on the hoop, which lets the air flow through in sort of a big foot-wide cylinder that makes it much more quiet, much more controllable. It's not as likely to blow your papers all around your desk because it only goes out in a cylinder. Yep. There's no breeze under here. It's fascinating.
More super cool, super expensive, super fun Dyson technology. $300.
This is the small one.
Yep.
They have a big one that's $500.
We'll have a review up. Do we have it up? Will it be up soon, or is it up now?
It'll be up later this week, I believe.
Okay, we'll have a review up later this week on PCMag.com. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. This has been PCMag Live. We will be back tomorrow with more tech news and another cool thing for you.
Be seeing you.